Let's start with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavato Sahanau Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Viddishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Kathopanishad, first chapter, second section. We are in the seventh mantra. This section consists of 25 verses. So we have about 19 verses to go for this section. All Upanishads have a unique purpose of revealing the truth about ourselves and about the world in which we live. All the Upanishads have the same purpose. Kathopanishad comes with a very unique background where the Lord of Death is the teacher and an 8-year-old boy is a student. So the 8-year-old boy goes and asks Lord Yama a very basic question about death. The question is, some say that there is something after the death of a person. There is some goal reached. Some say there is nothing after death. Now, Lord Yama, you teach me what happens during death. That is the straight, blunt question of Nachiketa to his guru, who is Yamadharma Raja. In this second section, we are seeing the glorification of the teaching, glorification of the student, and glorification of the teacher. So that is the portion we are studying now. We have not started the teaching yet, which will come in the 14th verse of this section. We are in the 7th section. So let me go straight to the section where we stopped last week.
श्रवणायापि बहुभिर्यो न लभ्यः श्रवणायापि बहुभिर्यो न लभ्यः शृण्वन्तोऽपि बहवो यं न विद्युः शृण्वन्नोऽपि बहवो यं न विद्युः आश्चर्यो वक्ता कुशलोऽस्य लब्धा आश्चर्यो वक्ता कुशलोऽस्य लब्धा आश्चर्यो ज्ञाता कुशलानुशिष्टः आश्चर्यो ज्ञाता कुशलानुशिष्टः.
So in this mantra, there is a glorification of the teaching. What does it say here? It says that very, very rarely somebody comes to hear about Upanishads and about the self which is taught in the Upanishads. That is the first wonder. The second wonder is, even if somebody gets a chance to hear about this, they are not able to comprehend the self. That is the second wonder. The third wonder is finding a good teacher who can convey the self. That is the third wonder. And the last wonder is the pupil, means that the student who can comprehend the self when he is taught by the teacher. So can you see so much of glorification is done for the teacher, for the student, and for the teaching. In short, what it means is that this self knowledge is extremely difficult to get. As you all know, four purusharthas, four goals of life are there: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. 70% of the people are generally interested only in artha and kama throughout their life. Artha means gaining wealth, how to spend that wealth. That is the two goals which normally people have. There are very few people, about 20% of the people, who know that we should spend money dharmically. And there is a goal of life to be dharmic throughout life. Dharmic means what? You lead a good life in the society. Don't incur sin. Lead a simple life and let the life go on. That is what is called as life of dharma. So most of the people who come to Vedanta, they already are leading a good dharmic life. And of course, artha and kama is a common thing for most of us. The last portion, the last goal, moksha, very few people, even after study of Upanishads, they are not aware of this. They just hear there is some word called moksha, and then they say, okay, some people have that goal. Maybe I don't have that. So many people don't know what is moksha. Moksha means freedom from rebirth. That is one. Second is moksha means freedom from sorrow while living. You may ask the question, is it really possible? Yes, it is possible. Moksha means I don't look at myself as a samsari. That means I live in the grahastha, but I don't look myself as a samsari. I look myself as Atma Tat. This can be developed only when you study Upanishads. There is no other way. Mundaka Upanishad says that ignorant people don't know what is the goal of bliss in life. They enjoy pleasures they enjoy pleasures on the earth, and again they are born in the cycle of birth and death, and again they come back to this human life, go through the samsara. This is the cycle. Bhagavad Gita also says, Tetvam bhuktva sarvalokam vishalam shine punyam artyalokam vishanti evam tri dharma manuprapannat gatagatam kama kama labhante. Comes in the ninth chapter, 21st verse. Having enjoyed this world, they go to heaven and come back again to this world. That is what they say in the ninth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. This is, see, on these matters, the Bhagavad Gita or Upanishads is the only pramana. The only source of knowledge for rebirth and coming back to this world is only Shastra. There is no other pramana. Nobody can say that I was there before, I am here now. No, that's not possible. So moksha ichha is 4% of the people, jnana ichha is 3%, shastra vichara is done by 2% of the people, guru upadesha shravana ichha. The last one is the most important. I must go to a guru and say, I would like to have Brahma Vidya. then only the Guru can help you. Suppose you go to the Guru and say, "No, I want to know something about Vedanta." No, you must be very clear. Before you go to the Guru, you must be clear that I want some to know something about myself, which I don't know. Number one. Number two, I know the source of that knowledge is in the scriptures. Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and Brahma Sutra. Number three, I want to learn from you. These are the three basic steps of any spiritual student. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad talks about three methods of learning about Atma. Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana. That is what is said in this mantra, the second chapter, the fourth section, the fifth mantra, where the husband tells the wife wants to know what is Atma. Then the husband teaches her and says, first you listen, then you contemplate, remove your doubts, then you own up that Atma as yourself. Okay, so these are all the fundamental steps. There is a long process of preparation before we come into the study of Upanishads. Before we come to realize what is Atma, there is a lot of preparation required. Communication is a wonder because it's not easily communicable. Like, for example, in Kathopanishad, the 15th mantra of the third section teaches about this Atma. What does it say? Ashabdam, asparsham, arupam, avyayam, tatharasam, nityam, gandhavachayat. That means this Atma cannot be heard with a sound. It cannot be touched. It doesn't have a form. You cannot see Atma. It is invisible. It doesn't have any modifications like a birth, a death. You don't see Atma getting born. There is no test. You can't use any of the sense organs to know Atma. But at the same time, it is there. What is the nature of Atma? It is beginningless. That means it is Nityaha, always there. It is unchanging. It doesn't change like the body, like the mind. It is always there. What is that? Atma. What is the nature of Atma? Consciousness. The one who knows this Atma for the death of the body as himself or herself has got self knowledge. In Keno Upanishad, which we did before, Pratibodha Vidita, before any thought arises in your mind, what exists is this Atma. So consciousness is there, I am is there. After that, there is a thought in the mind, and then we are able to witness the thought, know the meaning of the thought, and then act accordingly. So, pratibodha, every knowledge, vritti jnanam, presupposes swarupa jnanam. Vakta Ashcharya. Vakta Ashcharya means one who talks about this Atma is a wonder. Ascharyo Jnata Labdaha. One who knows, gets it, is the one who uh, is able to get this understanding of Atma. That is a wonder. Sat Darshanam, written by Ramana Maharishi, clearly states that the power to know this Atma, realize this Atma is the true attainment in life. It is the person who has woken up to this Atma, he is the one who has realized the self, and it is like waking up from a dream or regular sleep. You wake up. So, what do you suddenly see? The waking world is not there, but I am there. Now, similarly, when we wake up to this knowledge of Atma, Ashabdam, Asparsham, Arupam, Agandham, if you wake up to that Atma, in which there is no prapancha, that is what is called as Brahma Jnana. What about the waking life? It is Maya. Maya means it is like a magic show. It is like the dream world. How does the seeker know this? He will know this if he is taught by a competent acharya. What is the definition of competent acharya? The Upanishad explains that in the following mantras.
न नरेणावरेण प्रोक्त एष न नरेणावरेण प्रोक्त एष सुविज्ञेयो बहुधा चिन्त्यमानः सुविज्ञेयो बहुधा चिन्त्यमानः अनन्यप्रोक्ते गतिरत्र नास्ति अनन्यप्रोक्ते गतिरत्र नास्ति अणीयान् ह्यतर्क्य अणुप्रमाणात् अनीयान् ह्यतर्क्यम् अनुप्रमाणात्.
So here the Upanishad itself clarifies that a person who knows Brahman as his own nature, he is the one who will be able to teach because he has understood clearly. If I know something, then I can teach. The self is the subtlest thing in the universe. How subtle it is, we have seen this before. The five elements, they have properties. Earth is gross element. Gross earth has got five properties accessible to sense organs, five sense organs. This is Tattva information. Water has got four properties. It is accessible to four sense organs. Similarly, fire, air, and space is the subtlest. Earth is the grossest because all the sense organs can grasp the earth. We can see the earth, we can taste the earth, we can smell the earth, we can touch the earth. And if you put your ear on the earth, you can see the rumbling sound. So all the five sense organs can be used. Therefore, it is called as gross. What about space? Space is known only with the help of the sound which is heard in space. Only one property. That means only the ears can hear the space, not hear the space, hear the sound which is a property of space. So every instrument studies a certain is useful to study a certain aspect of this world. What about Atma? Ashabdam, Asparsham, Rupam. This is the best definition of Atma for a beginner. Best definition which comes in the third section of the Kathopanishad, because it clearly says your Atma cannot be known by any of the five sense organs. Therefore, how to know that? The only way to know that Atma is Aham Atma Asmi. Just tell yourself, I am that pure Atma, which is pure consciousness, in which there is no world. There is it itself alone is. The same thing is conveyed as na anta prajnam na bahish prajnam, no bhaya prajnam in Mandukya Upanishad, which we are studying tomorrow. Same message is confirmed. Here it is the way of expressing as without the sense organs. There it is saying it is without the three states of the mind. So whether you use the mind as an instrument, you can't know Atma. Whether you use the sense organs as the instruments, you can't know Atma. So how to know this Mahatma? Only when you come to the source for the Atma, which is the Shastra. Bahuda Chintamanaha. There are many, many theories of this Atma. 12 philosophies were there in India during Shankaracharya's time. Six was Astika Pramanam, Astika philosophies. That means they accepted Veda as a Pramanam. Which are those six? Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaiseshika, Purva Mimamsa, Uttara Mimamsa. At the same time, there were six Nastikas. That means they said Veda is not a source of Pramanam for knowing Atma. So they landed up in completely wrong theory about themselves. And those six are, there are four schools of Buddhism, Jainism, and Charvak. What are the confusions which are possible in the case of Atma? Atma is the body. Atma is the mind. Atma is the prana which we are breathing. Atma is atomic in size. Nyaya Vaiseshika, they believe atomic in size. Atma is all pervading. Atma is one. Atma is many. Atma is inert, like the stone. Atma is sentient, awareness. It is both sentient and inert. These are all the confusions which are there in these different schools of philosophy. So, unless and until there is a competent teacher who uses the Shastra to explain what is this Atma, you can never grasp it. Therefore, Guru is very important, and Guru has to be Shrotriya, means he must have done a lot of Shravana. Lot of Shravana. Shravana means listening to the scriptures for a number of years. And then the second qualification of the Guru is he is a Brahmanishta. He is not shaken by any thought which comes in his mind that I am not Brahman. I am not this consciousness principle. It never comes to him. Throughout his life, he leads a life as I am Atma, I am Atma, I am Atma. This Shrotriya, this comes in Mundaka Upanishad, Shrotriya Brahmanishtam. He has got a methodology of teaching. Like Drishya Viveka, Avastatraya Viveka, Panchakosha Viveka. These are all the Sampradaya. Sampradaya means it is the key to open up the knowledge of what is ultimately the knowledge of Atma. I am Nityaha. I am always there. Which I are we talking about? Atma I. Body I is not there in the sleep state. Body is lying down. But Atma I continues to be there. Aham Shuddha, pure. Buddha. I am always conscious. Satyam. Satyam means it is always existent. Jnanam. of the nature of knowledge. Anantam means it is not affected by time. All these words do not indicate an external object, but they are all indicating the subject in us. All these words means I the Atma am Nityam. I the Atma am Shuddha. I have no impurity. I have no sin. I have no punyam. I have no papa. Nirvana Shatkam, if you recall, all these are all saying the same thing. And this is the way to meditate on the self. One who uses this key reaches that Atma as the self. So, for the Guru, the student, that if you go to such a Guru, then helplessly you will understand whether you may not know like to know about my Atma, but you will come to know about her. That is what the scriptures are saying. The glorification of Atma, the teaching of Atma continues in the next verse.
नैषा तर्केण मतिरापनीया नैषा तर्केण मतिरापनीया प्रोक्तान्येनैव सुज्ञानाय प्रेष्ठ प्रोक्तान्येनैव सुज्ञानाय प्रेष्ठ यां त्वमापः सत्यधृतिर्भतासि यां त्वमापः सत्यधृतिर्भतासि त्वां गृह्णो भूयान् नचिकेतपृष्ठा त्वां गृह्णो भूयान् नचिकेतपृष्ठा.
Here, this is a very famous quotation of Kathopanishad, which Shankaracharya quotes many, many times in his commentaries of other Bhashyams. Naisha tarkena matirape neya means you cannot use tarka, logic, to prove Atma, because it is not the field of tarka. Atma cannot be understood if you start arguing with the teacher. No, I think it should be like this. I heard this Swamiji talking like this, and this is argumentation. The best way to approach the teacher, approach the teaching is I will go as per what the Shastra is teaching me. That is why a guru must, you go to a guru who explains the Shastra. Doesn't say that I am telling you this, therefore you believe it. That is what is the essence in this mantra. Another quality of the Guru is he doesn't have a Abheda Darshanam. He feels that the whole universe rests on one principle, which is Brahman, which is Atma, or you can call it consciousness. Very strongly he believes that. Then in this mantra, Lord Yamadharmaraja, he compliments Nachiketa. He says, oh, what a wonder is this kid. 8-year-old boy, he wants to know about the self. Even old people who are 80, they are not interested in the self. They don't even come to the Shastra. But here is the 8-year-old boy. He wants to know the self. I wish there is such Nachiketa type of students in who can come and learn this. So here it glorifies the teacher, again it glorifies the teaching, and again it glorifies the student. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashtena sevaya upadeshanti te jnanam jnaninastatvadarshinaha. Bhagavad Gita brings out the same essence where it says, go and prostrate to a teacher, do service for the teacher, and then get instruction on Brahma Vidya. Na buddhi bedam janaye, tattejnanam karma sankhinam, joshariye sarva karmani, vidvan yukta samacharan. The guru should not unsettle the mind of ignorant people. He should tell them to engage in actions till they are ready. Let them go with bhakti yoga. Let them go with karma yoga till they are ready to come to jnana yoga. Chandogya Upanishad talks about a person in the forest who is blindfolded unless and when he meets a person who is not blind, who can see. So similarly, you go to a guru who can see that Atma in himself, know that it is his nature, and then he can teach that to the others. Atma Jnana cannot be gained by logical reasoning, tarka. Entire scientific data is based on objectification. What you see, you report and you analyze. Therefore, science does not have the scope to enter Atma because it is always looking at the external world. But what we need to do in Atma Vidya, you have to go internal. Who is the subject who is experimenting with the world? That subject is the topic of the Shastra. Science and logic, they can neither confirm Vedanta, neither they can reject Vedanta because the scope does not exist in them. The scope of Atma, the spiritual scope, is not in material science or in logic. Logic depends on the inference drawn by the data provided by the sense organ. Therefore, logic cannot be used. We use logic as a supportive logic. For us, Shastra is the Praman. Suppose Shastra says you are not the body, you are Atma. So what do I say? I believe the Shastra and I say I am that. I don't look for clue somewhere else. I don't try to go to logic to prove Shastra. I don't go to any other outside external sources to prove Atma. Vivek Chodamani, this is the which I was even talking last week. So very rare indeed are three things which happen to an individual. First, he gets a human birth. Second, he gets a burning desire to know and to liberate himself from this body. And the third is he finds a guru who can teach him. So these three are wonders. All these are all wonders mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, in Vivek Chudamani, in this Kathopanishad, in other Upanishads also. This whole science of Brahma Vidya is a great wonder. And why is it? The three things which are rare is you are born as a human being, you get a desire for moksha, and then you get a competent guru. All three is not in our hands. It is in the hands of the Lord who has provided us this body for a certain amount of time. We take the body for granted, and then there is an ego in this body which we try to say it is me, and then we suffer. So Shravanam for the student is Nididhyasam for a teacher. When a teacher teaches, he is dwelling on the topic of his own Atma. Again and again, he is dwelling on that Atma. Therefore, he is doing Nididhyasana. But for a student, it is Shravan. So both are benefited in this type of dialogue.
जानाम्यहं सेवधिरित्यनित्यं जानाम्यहं सेवधिरित्यनित्यं न ह्यध्रुवैः प्राप्यते हि ध्रुवं तत् न ह्यध्रुवैः प्राप्यते हि ध्रुवं तत् ततो मया नाचिकेतश्चितोऽग्निः ततो मया नाचिकेतश्चितोऽग्निः अनित्यैर्द्रव्यैः प्राप्तवानस्मि नित्यम् अनित्यैः द्रव्यैः प्राप्तवानस्मि नित्यम्.
Lord Yamadharmaraja, he says, "Oh Nachiketa, you are even superior to me. I have got the status of Yamadharmaraja. I have got the status of this Lord of Death, that position. After a lot of doing rituals in the Bhuloka, even the Devadas, who are exalted jivas only, with superior body mind complex, they come to Swargaloka. Why do they come to Swargaloka? Because of the karma phalam. They have done rituals in their earthly plane. Even the Hiranyagarbha post, that means Hiranyagarbha means the totality of all the minds, the controller of all the mind, there is a Devata. That is also got only by doing rituals in this world. Kathopanishad, we have done this. There is a story there which talks about how Indra got the knowledge of Atma or Brahma Tattvam first. Then Indra taught the other Devatas in the Swargalok. Agni got that. Agni, Vayu, Prithvi, all the other Devatas, they got the knowledge after Indra Devata got this knowledge. Again, here it is a glorification of knowledge. It is a glorification of Brahma Vidya. So Nachiketa knew that karma is limited. I do a ritual, I will get limited result. But what was Nachiketa interested in? He was interested in finding out, is there anything eternal in this world? If it is eternal, then there will not be any death for that person. He was in search of consciousness. He was in search of Atma, which is eternal. Mundakopanishad says that even if you take a boat, it is like getting small rewards in life. Ignorant person will say that again and again, from birth to old age to death, they have got results. But they are all lower results compared to heaven. Swarga, which is compared to Manusha Loka, is relatively eternal. You can live there for a few, maybe 1,000 years. But still you have to come back. Therefore, it is relatively real, it is relatively lithium, but it is not absolutely lithium. What did Nachiketa choose? He didn't want. Lord Yamadharmaraja offered him so many things, but he refused all of them, and he says, teach me Brahma Vidya indirectly. What we have to understand from this portion of this Kathopanishad is, in this world there is something which is eternal, which doesn't die, which is always there. Try to understand this basic lesson from this teaching. There is something. What I see in the world is change, continuous change. What the Upanishad says is there is something changeless. Can you see the difference now? There is, our life is full of changes. Morning comes, afternoon comes, evening comes, again morning comes, afternoon comes, evening comes. Again, we have the same cycle, Monday to Friday, Monday to Friday, the same week after week. 6 months of the year is already gone. Now we are entering into the second half. See how fast the world has gone, how fast this year has gone. Continuously changing. My mind is attracted to certain things for a small amount of time. Again, tomorrow morning it will change. But there is something which is changeless. And if I can hold on to that changeless principle, the objective, the purpose of doing the study of Upanishad is fulfilled. That changeless Atma, that changeless Brahman is what is Nachiketa wants to know. And Lord Yamadharmaraja teaches that so beautifully in this Kathopanishad. As we go across, as we cross over one by one, our intellect, when it goes through those mantras, etat vaitat, etat vaitat, again and again, Lord keeps on telling Nachiketa, this is what you wanted to know in the second section. You wanted to know that in the first section. This is what it is. This is an Atma. Okay. Let's move to the 11th verse.
कामस्याप्तिं जगतः प्रतिष्ठाम् कामस्याप्तिं जगतः प्रतिष्ठां क्रतोरानन्त्यम् अभयस्य पारम् क्रतोरानन्त्यम् अभयस्य पारम् स्तोममहत् उरुगायं प्रतिष्ठां दृष्ट्वा स्तोममहत् उरुगायं प्रतिष्ठां दृष्ट्वा धृत्याधीरो नचिकेतोऽत्यस्राक्षीः धृत्याधीरो नचिकेतोऽत्यस्राक्षीः.
Here, the most important word is abhayam. Abhayam pratishtha. That means you are seeking fearlessness when you are trying to come to learn about Atma. Every other knowledge, Brahma Padavi, the status of even Brahma is only high compared to the relative world or sense pleasures. Three conditions are required for sense pleasures. What are the three conditions? The sense object should be fine. Finer sense organs means finer enjoyment. My eyes should be perfect. My ears should be able to hear. My tongue should be able to taste. During young youth, we have all this. As old age comes in, slowly all the sense organs become to wither away. So the instrument should be fine, the sense organ should be healthy. At the same time, the intellect should be mature. Suppose I have good sense objects outside, I have good sense organs, but my mind is always dull, it is sleepy, then you cannot enjoy. So, three conditions are required. The sense objects must be there, sense organs must be healthy, and the mind should be healthy. So, the one who takes up rituals to reach Brahma Loka, what happens to him? He goes to Brahmaloka, and then because of his upasana phalam, he will get krama mukti. But Nachiketa doesn't want this indirect route to moksha. See, there are two routes to moksha. One route is here and now you study the Upanishads, Brahma Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, learn the essence of this three texts. The essence is Atma. I am the Atma. I am eternal. That is the essence. Know that here and now, clear all your doubts, be free. This is called as Jivan Mukti here and now. There is another method which is called as Krama Mukti. 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita specializes in teaching Krama Mukti. There, you do upasana here. You meditate. Throughout your life, you meditate on Omkara as the symbol. We are going to study even in this Kathopanishad, Omkara meditation is the first thing which is taught to Nachiketa. In the 15th mantra of this verse, that will be taught. Now, so this is what, so the totality of this knowledge is possible with the help of the sense organs, the sense, the sense objects, and the healthy mind. That is the essence of the 11th shloka.
तं दुर्दर्शः गूढमनुप्रविष्टम् तं दुर्दर्शगूढमनुप्रविष्टं गुहाहितं गह्वरेष्ठं पुराणं गुहाहितं गह्वरेष्ठं पुराणम् अध्यात्मयोगाधिगमेन देवम् अध्यात्मयोगाधिगमेन देवं मत्वा धीरो हर्ष शोकौ जहाति मत्वा धीरो हर्ष शोकौ जहाति.
In this mantra, the joy of meditation is given. What happens to a wise man? He will meditate on the Atma, the inner self, the substratum of the whole universe. That is how he will meditate. Now, he recognizes that ancient Atma. Why is it called ancient? Because it is always there. It cannot be seen. It can be only known in the intellect. And how do you know that? As I am that Atma. There is no other way. You cannot say that this is Atma and this Atma is the substratum. No. The way to know Atma is I am that Atma. I am the substratum of the entire universe. What is that Atma? It is awareness principle. It is consciousness compared to the inert table, which is not conscious. I am conscious. I am aware of the external world. I am aware of this body. I am aware of my emotions. That awareness is what we are discussing here. That awareness is changeless. What changes? Ahamkara changes. What is ahamkara? Ahamkara is the notion I am the body. The notion I am the world. I am the mind. Notion that I am the doer. I am the enjoyer. That notion is called as ahamkara. Now, Atma is Purana. Purana means unborn. There is no decay or death for Atma. Durdarsham. Durdarsham means what? Sense organs and the mind cannot reach Atma. It's so far away. It is not so far away, it is very subtle. It is the inner essence of the Panchakoshas. For example, where do you get the steam? Steam is only a part of water only. It is the inner core of the water content. Similarly, this body of ours, the inner core is Atma. So Atma is realized when I drop the intellect, drop the sense organs, I control them and reach that inner essence. When you reach the inner essence, it's called as Adhyatma Yoga. Adhyatma Yoga means I control the sense organs, I control my mind. That is called as yoga. By controlling that, I then reach out to Atma, which I come to know from the Upanishads. So the whole methodology of trying to realize ourselves is given in this mantra. It says you have to control the two instruments. The sense organs is an instrument. It is an instrument only to experience the external world. The mind is used to analyze what you are experiencing in the world, right and wrong, whether I should do this or do this. These are all the functions of the mind. But when the sense organs they interact with the sense objects in the world, there is something called as samsara. I have pairs of opposites, heat and cold, joy and sorrow, success and failure, praise and insult, honor and dishonor. These are all which every ego has to face. But there is something which is an illuminator of this conditions of the mind. That illuminator is changeless. Yesterday the illuminator was there, same illuminator is there today, and tomorrow also it will be the same illuminator. That is what is called as Atma.
एतच्छ्रुत्वा सम्परिगृह्य
So that is what is the Atma's description, which we have seen, which comes out from Adhyatma Yoga. Adhyatma Yoga means control of the sense organs which belongs to me, control of mind which belongs to me. By doing this control and learning the scriptures, I try to arrive at Atma. Next verse.
एतच्छ्रुत्वा सम्परिगृह्य मर्त्यः एतच्छ्रुत्वा सम्परिगृह्य मर्त्यः प्रवृह्य धर्म्यम् अनुमेतमाप्य प्रवृह्य धर्म्यम् अनुमेतमाप्य समोदते मोदनीयं हि लब्ध्वा समोदते मोदनीयं हि लब्ध्वा विवृतं सद्म नचिकेतसं मन्ये विवृतं सद्म नचिकेतसं मन्ये.
Here, this is what Lord Yama is thinking about Nachiketa. He's saying, now I think I have to teach this Nachiketa about Brahma Vidya because he will rejoice in the Atma Jnanam. It is very difficult to get this Atma Jnanam because it's very subtle, but I have a very, very fit student for this knowledge. Therefore, I must teach Nachiketa. That is the conclusion slowly Lord Yama is arriving at. See, all so far he has been doing a test on Nachiketa. Because Atma is pure intelligence by which you can drop the delusionary identification with the body and mind. What Upanishad teaches is that whenever you identified with the body and mind, it is a delusion. It's a delusion if you think that that body and mind which I'm experiencing is me. Suppose you say I'm observing a body and mind in the world. In the waking state, I experience so many different bodies. My body is also one of the bodies of the prapancha. Then what happens? You're creating a distance between you, the Atma, and the body and your mind. By gaining this knowledge, by creating this distance, one can cross all the sorrows of life. Like a mother loves a child, similarly, our love for the self is the highest. Upanishad makes a very beautiful analysis, and it says clearly that the love for the self is the highest. All of us, each one of us, we love ourselves the highest. Compared to the relative love for all other things in the world, the love for Atma, whether you may accept it or not, but this is the fact. What is this Atma? It is the divine spark. It is not relative. Atma is not a part of this prapancha. Prapancha means whatever my eyes are able to see, my ears are able to hear. But this Atma is divine. It is a principle on which this entire world comes up, the body comes up, the mind comes up. So, this is the way Yamadharmaraja was thinking about Nachiketa. And he said, Nachiketa is ready for this knowledge. This convinces him that I should teach Nachiketa. This is how the story goes. Now Nachiketa repeats the same question which he asked before. He asked the question about death before. In verse number first chapter, first section, 20th verse. Same question now he is repeating in different words. See he how beautifully he phrases this question. This is one of the best mantras of Kathopanishad. And the answer to this question is the full Upanishad.
अन्यत्र धर्मात् अन्यत्राधर्मात् अन्यत्र धर्मात् अन्यत्राधर्मात् अन्यत्रास्मात् कृतात् कृतात् अन्यत्रास्मात् कृतात् अन्यत्र भूतात् च भव्याच्च अन्यत्र भूताच्च भव्याच्च यत्तत् पश्यसि तद्वद् यत्तत् पश्यसि तद्वद्.
Very, very beautiful question by Nachiketa. You and I, we will never be able to think of such questions also. That's why some of these, sometimes people write down all the questions of the students from different Upanishads. They make a full section of questions raised by disciples. Kathopanishad, there are many questions. Kathopanishad, there are questions. Mundakopanishad, there are questions. Several questions. Sometimes the questions are not there, but you can even construct them. Now here, what is it? How Nachiketa is tempting Lord Yama to teach about Atma? He puts it in a very indirect way. How does he say? Anyatra dharma. Anyatra dharma. Anyatra dharma. But that is the first pair. He uses three pairs for this question. Dharma means virtue. Adharma means vice. Whatever is right, whatever is wrong. Tell me, is there anything which is beyond both of them? That is the first part of the question. Three parts to this question. The second part is cause and effect. Krita, akrita. Akrita means the cause. Krita means effect. Other than cause and effect, is there anything? In Mandukya, other than the sleep state, which is the cause, and the dream state, which is the effect, and the waking state, which is the effect, is there anything? There, the answer is Turiya Atma. Here, the answer is Brahman. This is the second part of the question. Third part of the question. We all know that we had a past. We all know there is a future for us. Bhuta, Bhavya. Bhuta means past. Bhavya means future. Oh Lord of Death, can you tell me, is there anything beyond the past and then the future? That means what? He's asking, is there anything timeless? This Atma is timeless. This Atma is beyond cause and effect. This Atma is beyond the Karana Sharira. That Atma is what Nachiketa is asking in the 14th mantra. What lies beyond the three states of consciousness is this Turiya Atma. It is the pure consciousness, knowing which everything else in the world is known. Here, Nachiketa defines Atma as the absolute principle, which is beyond cause and effect. See, the cause is our sleep state. The waking state and the dream state is supposed to be the karyam, effect, product. Gold is the cause for all the ornaments. Beyond gold and beyond the effect, is there anything? Beyond all the ornaments and beyond the gold, is there anything in life? Is there anything in this world? And that is what is the substratum for this entire universe. Okay, so this, what Nachiketa is asking is, what is the world resting on? In many, many Upanishads, similar questions are asked. Sadeva Soumya Idamagre Ase. What is that principle on which this entire Sat is a substratum for the whole universe? Mayeva Sakalam Jatam, Kaivalya Upanishad. That substratum for the rise of the universe, sustenance of the universe, and for the resolution of the universe. Taittiriya Upanishad, the Upasamkramati mantras, all those mantras you should try to reflect. They are all asking the same question about Atma or Brahman.
सर्वे वेदा यत् पदमामनन्ति सर्वे वेदा यत् पदमामनन्ति तपांसि सर्वाणि च यद्वदन्ति तपांसि सर्वाणि च यद्वहन्ति यदिच्छन्तो ब्रह्मचर्यं चरन्ति यदिच्छन्तो ब्रह्मचर्यं चरन्ति तत्ते पदं सङ्ग्रहेण ब्रवीमि तत्ते पदं सङ्ग्रहेण ब्रवीमि ॐ इत्येतत् ॐ इत्येतत्
How beautifully Lord Yamadharmaraja begins his teaching. Very beautiful. Same way as taught in Mandukya Upanishad. Om is the ultimate essence of this whole creation. Om is the goal of all the Vedas. Om is the goal of all the sannyasis who are doing penances of Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasam. Om is why all the brahmacharis they lead their life. They all want to know only Om. So, Nachiketa, what you are asking is nothing but teach me what is Omkara. Omkara is the symbol of that Brahman. Yamadharmaraja's teaching begins from this verse, the 15th verse of section 2 of the first chapter is the teaching. In three mantras, 15, 16, and 17, Yamadharmaraja teaches Omkara Upasana as a sadhana, as a means to attain the knowledge of the self, to attain the knowledge of Atma. So this is extremely important topic. Very, very important because this is how the teaching begins. Whatever Nachiketa wanted to ask the questions is all over. Now the stage is set for Lord Yama to start the teaching. He continues the teaching till the second chapter, and then the whole teaching is only about Atma or Brahman. Atma is at an individual level, Brahman is at the totality level. The teaching is extremely subtle. Your gross intellect will not be able to pick up. Therefore, to make the gross mind into a subtle mind, upasana is prescribed. Earlier, I told you about two muktis, Jivan Mukti here and now, Krama Mukti in Vaikuntha or in the Swarga Loka, Brahma Loka. In Jivan Mukti, what is the first step? Omkara Saguna Upasana is used to sharpen the mind. Here, in the next few verses, 16 and 17, they will teach us how to do this Upasana, what is the background information we need. The second step for this Jivan Mukti is Nirguna Vichara. So one is Upasana. Second is Vichara, inquiry. Each one of us have to do this inquiry. Each one of us have to do this Omkara Upasana for getting this Jivan Mukti. This is a Drishta Phalam. Suppose you are able to do both. you will get that benefit here and now. Your own mind will tell you, I have known the essence of the Upanishad, which is Atma Jnanam. Krama Mukti is meant for people who do Omkara Upasana during up to the death, and then they gain Brahma Jnanam in Brahma Loka and they get liberation there. But here our aim is not Krama Mukti, our aim is Jivan Mukti. So the two steps of Jivan Mukti is Omkara Upasana and Nirguna Brahma Vichar. See, this Brahman appears as this word. That is what is called as Sagunam. Whenever we experience the world, suppose you experience your body, your thoughts, don't try to focus only at an individual level. Expand your mind to say, I am experiencing the universe. The universe is nothing but it is Ishvara's form. Suppose you start looking at your waking state as the Virat Upasana. That means you say that this, whatever I'm experiencing, is belongs to Ishvara. It is Saguna Ishvara. But that is only one side of the coin. The second side of the coin is what? There is a Nirguna Ishvara. Nirguna Ishvara means formless Ishvara. The entire formed Ishvara rises from the formless Ishvara and resolves into formless Ishvara. These are the two steps for Atmic Jnana. Okay, very beautiful way in which there is a step-by-step understanding
Sir,
of what the Atma is. Why do we use this Omkara? Because Omkara is a pratika. There are two types of symbols. One is called as pratima, another is called as pratika. Pratima means you have a form. Rama form, Krishna form, Devi form, with clear limbs, with clear face, legs, and so on. Pratika means it is a symbol. It is a symbol which does not have a form like the pratima. Pratika means it can be a flame. It can be a turmeric powder. It is Shiva Lingam or Shaligrama. So pratika means it is a symbol like the flag of a nation. It is a symbol. Pratima is symbol used. That means when you meditate on Rama or Krishna or Devi with form, it is you're talking about the same formless Brahman, but with form. Lord here is called as Omkara. The same thing is used in Taittiriya Upanishad and Mandukya Upanishad. So there are three Upanishads. Actually, even Prashna Upanishad is there. I have not mentioned it here. Prashna Upanishad also talks about Omkara Upasana. Omkara has got two. I will explain that probably in the next few slides. But there is a Sagunam version. There is a Nirgunam version. The Sagunam version is the sound. The sound is a symbol. Sound is karyam. It is a product. But what is the karanam? Karanam is nirgunam, silence. For silence, is there a form? No form. So Omkara is such a beautiful symbol. You can focus on the sound portion for the Saguna version, you can focus on the soundless silence as the Nirguna portion, the Karanam portion. Karanam is always formless. Sarva Veda Yatu Padam Amananti. The destination of all the four Vedas is to teach Brahman. Veda Purva prescribes the goals of life: dharma, artha, kama. Veda Anta prescribes the last goal, which is called as moksha. Moksha is also called by another name, Purnatva Pratihi. I am fulfilled. The moment you say I am fulfilled because I know this Atma or Brahman, Veda Purva talks about Dharma Artha Kama. Now we have to detach from that Dharma Artha Kama and then come to this Nirguna Atma or Moksha. Rhythm, Satyam, rituals, values, Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, Viveka, Vairagyam, these are all the Veda Purva portion. It gives you a fit mind. The goal for which sannyasis spend their whole life, in one word, if you want to mention, it is called as Om. Yadaksharam Veda Vido Vadanti Vishanti Yattvayo Vitaragaha Yachanto Brahmacharyam Charanti Tatte Padam Sangrahene Pravekshe. See, in the 8th chapter, 11th verse, the same message of Kathopanishad is given. Exactly the same message. That Brahman, that Atma, by which all this brahmacharis they practice throughout their life, that Brahman is the goal of all the Vedas. Next verse.
एतद्येवाक्षरं ब्रह्म एतद्येवाक्षरं ब्रह्म एतद्येवाक्षरं परम् एतद्येवाक्षरं परम् एतद्येवाक्षरं ज्ञात्वा एतद्येवाक्षरं ज्ञात्वा यो यदिच्छति तस्य तत् यो यदिच्छति तस्य तत्.
Here, the word Om, what does it represent? Om represent Aksharam Brahma, imperishable Brahman. How to meditate on this? You can meditate on this in two ways. One is you look at Ishvara as the Karanam, and you look at the world which we experience as the Kari. Ishvara is Parabrahman. Aparabrahman is the relative world of waking and dream. The one who meditates like this, what does he get? This upasana gives two phalams. One is sakama upasana, another is nishkama. Sakama upasana means when you meditate on this Omkara as imperishable reality, with I want to get the benefits of this world. I want a child. I want to get married. I want wealth. I want knowledge. All that is called as sakama. I want fame. I want to be a minister. I want to be the president of an organization. What is nishkama phalam? Whenever you do any ritual, you can ask for either of them. I want purity of mind so that I can know this Atma. That is called as Nishkama Phalam. Now, Hiranyagarbha has the natural, he's got the power to control thunder, lightning. There is a Devata. There is a Prithvi Devata. There is a Vayu Devata. There is a Agni Devata. Now, all those Devatas have done rituals in the past, have done upasanas. They are all exalted jivas. You can also become an exalted jiva if you do Omkara upasana. I am Aham Asmi. This Atma I am. This Atma means what? This imperishable Atma I am. So the crux of this verse number 16 is it is the teaching. First, the 15th verse talks about Omkara as the means. How to use that as the means is explained in the 16th verse. In the 17th verse also, the same Omkara Upasana, how it has to be done is explained.
एतदालम्बनं श्रेष्ठम् एतदालम्बनं श्रेष्ठम् एतदालम्बनं परम् एतदालम्बनं परम् एतदालम्बनं ज्ञात्वा एतदालम्बनं ज्ञात्वा ब्रह्मलोके महीयते ब्रह्मलोके महीयते.
The benefit of doing this Omkara Upasana is when you chant Om and then you quieten, again you chant O and then you quieten the mind, be in silence. As you do this Upasana, what you get? You get to realize there is an Alambanam. Alambanam is the silence. It's a support. The silence is the support of the sound. The silence, Turiyam, is the support for the entire Karanam, Tikara. Therefore, Omkara is the greatest symbol of the Lord. Shreshtaha, Param. Shreshtaha means is the greatest. Param means it is the supreme. Why is it the greatest and supreme? Because you can reach that loka, which is called as Brahma Loka Prapti or Chaitanya Loka Prapti, by meditating on this Omkara. So, with a desire, if we go to a loka, we get our desires fulfilled. When we, with a desire of Brahma Loka Prapti, what do we attain? We attain the substratum of the entire universe. A person who does this Omkara Upasana, he gets the highest in life. He comes to know that there is something which is perishable, which is what we started from. In the 15th verse, Lord Dharmaraja says there is something which is imperishable. In answer to Nachiketa's question, and then we studied how to get that imperishable is through Omkara Upasana, which is a very, very important Upasana described in Upanishads, Upanishad, Kathopanishad, Mundakopanishad, Prashnopanishad, Kaivalya Upanishad also. So many Upanishads, they talk about Om, Om, Om. Okay. And what is the nature of this consciousness, which is Brahman, which is imperishable? That we are going to study next week. So far, we have studied today is the teaching of Lord Yamadharmaraja to Nachiketa. The question which Nachiketa asked is there anything which is timeless? Is there anything which is beyond cause and effect? Is there anything beyond right and wrong in this world? Right and wrong in this world is dharma and adharma. Bhuta and bhavya is the past and the future. Krita and akrita are between cause and effect. Is there something like that? Beyond the relative plane, is there anything which is absolute? Yes, there is. And that is called as Brahman. That is called as Atma. How to reach that Atma? How to realize that Atma? Do Omkara Upasana, which has got the Saguna portion and Nirguna portion. Understand both the portions clearly, and you will reach the Param Purushartha. See how beautiful the teaching is in first four verses itself, from 15th, 17th verse. Lord Yama has explained the whole theory of Brahma Vidya. It's a very, very well structured Upanishad. Step by step, Lord Yama is teaching. The teaching goes further next week, where we are going to explain the same verse of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 20th verse. How it is bodily lifted from Kathopanishad. We are going to see it in the next mantra, verse number 18, next. One of the best verses of Bhagavad Gita, one of the best verses of Kathopanishad, explaining the nature of Atma as birthless, as deathless. Knowing this Atma is the real core nature, essential nature, from which only I experience the waking state, from which only the whole dream state comes, into which only I resolve every night in my sleep. I resolve into this Atma is the teaching, that is the absolute principle of that is where it is the essence of all the human beings. It is the essence of the Devatas. It is the essence of Ishvara. That essence we are going to study next week a little bit more in detail in the 18th verse. So wait for it till that time. Very beautiful teaching of Kathopanishad. With this, I end today's session. Om Purnamada Purnamidam
न जा
Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, there is a mention by Jayaprakash about a place near Uttarkashi, very beautifully uh, described here by Jayaprakash. Uh, see, these are all proof that there was somebody like a Nachiketa, and there was a teaching of Yamadharmaraja. See, these are all things which people have who have gone to Uttarkashi and all those places. You go to many places in the Himalayas, you hear such stories about what happened in those places. These are all things which are there in India. So I agree, Jayaprakash. Manikandan is asking, Brahman is beyond cause and effect. Hence, how it can be Karyam, Saguna, Karanam, Nirvana. Silence. Okay. Uh, you need to have a little bit more Shravanam. You need to understand the concept of Mandukya. Tomorrow, we are going to do that study. You must understand what is Mandukya Karika and Mandukya Upanishad, especially regarding the seventh mantra. We have not covered the seventh mantra fully. Therefore, this question is asked like this. Now, what is the essence of this question? The essence of Manikandan's question is, see, there is something called as cause and there is something called as effect, which is what our mind looks at a cause for this world. All the intellect is always inquisitive to know. It always wants to ask question, what is this world which I'm in, which I'm experiencing? What is this? Who am I? What is this body I'm experiencing? What is this world I'm experiencing? So Upanishad comes to the level of a student. What does it say in Mandukya Upanishad? Any other Upanishad? In order to satisfy the curiosity of the student, Upanishad says there is a cause for this world. And what is this world? World is a product. It is a effect. Take a simple example. Gold is the cause. There is a goldsmith who converts that gold into product, which is uh, the bangle, ring, and chain. With reference to gold, now you understand. Gold is the cause. Goldsmith is the producer, creator. Effect is the three. Look at the world. For the world, there is a cause. And what we are experiencing is always the effect. The cause of the world is Sagunam Brahma. It is the sound symbol. We are trying to compare Omkara Upasana and trying to understand what is the sound and what is the silence. In the case of Omkara Upasana, Omkara, when you chant in meditation, Om, sound. When you chant Om in your mind, there is a sound. Suppose you chant outside through your mouth, there is a sound. Don't forget, the sound is the symbol. That is an effect. That is the karyam, sound. But what is the karanam for that? The karanam for that is the silence. This is with reference to Omkar. Let us say, when we come to Mandukya Upanishad, we say Ishvara is the Karanam. Ishvara is the third pada. That is the sleep state. And then the effect is what? Waking and dream. Whole waking experience is nothing but it is resolved into sleep. Therefore, the sleep state is called as Karan. It rises from the sleep state, it resolves into sleep state. All the bangles, they rise from gold, they resolve into gold. Therefore, gold is the Karanam. Similarly, Ishvara, Saguna Ishvara is the Karanam. So much you should understand between Karanam and Karyam. When you understand the Karanam and Karyam, what happens is you are taking care of all the relative world of waking, dream, sleep. Mandukya Upanishad doesn't stop there. It says there is something beyond Karanam and Karyam, and that is what is called as Nirgunam Brahma. That Nirgunam Brahma is called as Turiyam Brahma, beyond Karanam and beyond Karyam. Why do we say this? Why do we invent something totally different than Karanam and Karyam? That is because unless until you know that you are not a part of the relative world, you have to cross over in your own mind. There is something which is beyond the relative concept. There is something called as absolute principle. Knowing that absolute principle only, you will get moksha. Knowing that Nirgunam Brahma is my Swarupam, very important word. Swarupa. What is my nature? My nature is nothing to do with the world because that absolute principle is the ultimate substratum. It is the essence behind everything in creation. And that is what is being explained in the seventh mantra of Mandukya. Okay, so Manikandan, I think you will understand a little bit, but you still have to learn the entire first chapter of Mandukya. Then only you will come to know the real truth behind your question, which you have asked here. Slowly, let's just be at it. You will get to know the truth. Do you have anything, any question on what I have said today? Yeah, Manikandan.
Sekirji, thank you very much for your explanation. It's very clear for me now. Yeah, I'm getting it a little bit. I will go through the Mandukya explanation. So,
Seventh
just
mantra. Yes.
okay,
You see,
just
yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So, in this case, in Kathopanishad, they are saying that Saguna is the effect and Nirguna is the Karyam. So, in this sense, what we can understand is in the Om, A, U, M is the three padas, that is the waking, dream, and the sleep, and the silence is the beyond the cause and effect. Am I right
Correct.
in? So
Yes.
here they are talking. Here they are mentioning that silence is the cause and sound is the effect. That's what I got a little bit confused because in Mondukya the silence is the beyond the cause and effect. A, U, M, and M is the
Correct. You're right.
Karana.
Yes.
That's the reason
There
I
is
got
a
little bit.
slight difference between Kathopanishad and Mandukya.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
It's good that you picked up the difference. Good.
Thank you,
You
Sekar.
see, you
Thank you.
can you can in certain Upanishad they combine the Nirguna and the Saguna as the Karana, and then they say world is a Karya. But in Mandukya Upanishad, they split up the Karanam itself into two parts, and they say Nirgunam Karanam is Turiyam, and then Saguna Karyam is Isha.
Thank you, Sekar.
Thank you. Good. Shama is asking, could you please explain the source of Omkara Vichara? Kathopanishad, Prashno, Mandukya Upanishad, is there some contemplation in Vichara Sagara? Oh, yes, there is. See, Vichara Sagara, there is not a single topic which is not covered in Vichara Sagara. So Omkara comes there also. But the source, if you ask me, where is the source? All the Upanishads, all these three Upanishads, Prashna Upanishad, but the easiest source is Mandukya. If you're asking me what is the main source for Omkara Upasana, the depth of Omkara Upasana which you get in Mandukya Upanishad is is easy to follow. Prashna Upanishad has got more information about Omkara Upasana. It also talks about the Devatas. It also talks about which location you are going to be in each of those padas. It gives more details of Omkara Upasana. Kathopanishad is fairly a smaller portion of Omkara Upasana covered in three mantras. More detail, easier to follow is Mandukya. Mandukya's mantras 8, 9, 10 are extremely deep. They tell you exactly how you should do Omkara Upasana, but a very simple way to do Omkara Upasana is just in your own mind, tell yourself the sound Om is this entire universe. Again and again, tell that. You chant Om outside. How to do this Omkara Upasana? Chant Omkara. Suppose you are a beginner. Chant Omkara loudly. Oh, oh, oh. 10 times you chant. 11th time you chant in your mind. Another 10 times you chant in your mind and keep increasing the gap between the two Oms. And then what you do, you sit down and say, bring all the knowledge of Mandukya Upanishad, contemplate on that knowledge. Deliberately say R stands for the waking state. Waking state consists of the individual and the totality. All that I put it into the akara. Then you go and tell yourself ukara. Ukara is the dream state, the individual and the entire prapancha, the dreamer and the dream world. It is represented by ukara, makara. In your own mind, bring the sleeper and the sleep ignorance. I am ignorant of the whole universe. That is what is represented by makara. All these three, they resolve into silence. That silence represents my real nature. This way, you go step by step, do this Omkara meditation, and then what will happen to you is that substratum, which is the silence, that will start making a meaning for you. It becomes that silence. What that silence is, you will start appreciating the silence, and not only appreciate the silence because of this Omkara meditation done in the way the Upanishad is teaching me. Whatever is the benefit the Upanishad is promising, you will get it. You will get it. It is for sure you'll get it. I mean, people have got it in the past. You are also, we are all seekers of the same. We, whatever phalam which you get, and the greatest phalam of Omkara Upasana is it represents the Sagunam and Nirgunam. And there is no other Upasana which can be equal to this Omkara Upasana. Okay, so Shama, the answer to your question is yes, it is Mandukya Upanishad who gives where you get the source. And Kathopanishad, Prashnopanishad has got more details. I will circulate to you the bhashyam. Once you have once I finish the Prashna bhashyam in about 2 months' time, I will finish it. I will send it to you. You can read it. You can see again Omkara how deep that Upanishad discusses that. The next part of your question, Omkara, as I understand, is the Karyam and Karanam. Krita and Akrita, I think you're already explaining. Does Om act as a carrier of other, as it accompanies almost all the Vedic mantras? Yes. Omkara represents everything. Suppose you can't chant other mantras. Suppose you can't chant Gayatri full mantra. Doesn't matter. Just chant Om. It contains all the mantra in one symbol. You can find a lot of descriptions of Om. Some people have done a PhD on Om, and it's a very very deep subject matter. Om is a singularity. It can uh, quieten our mind very easily. Chanting Om is the best method to quieten your mind. Suppose somebody says, I'm very, very disturbed. Try chanting Om. Chant Om, stop. Chant Om, stop. I mean, this is what the Upanishads, it's a great aid means given to us to how to control our mind and also reach what lies beyond the mind. I mean, I can talk hours and hours on this Om, but time is precious. It's there's so much about Om in the Veda. Um, okay, I will stop with reference to Shama. Shama, do you have any other remark? What I said? Yeah, Shama, can you unmute yourself and speak if you are there? Okay, let's go to Shanta. Go ahead,
Can you
Shanta.
hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you. Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah,
Shama.
yeah. So, no, it's just what you have prescribed just now is like an instant therapy. Yeah. So it is almost like it's worth testing it out. I'm going to do it, where if our mind is agitated or distressed or whatever, for whatever reason, is to use it. But what I'm also impressed is, are you saying it should be like a first with the sound? So you're doing om, om, om with the gaps, of course, and then you have a silent om.
Correct. Get used to the sound Om first in your mind.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Get used to it because your mind must be able to discern the sound Om first because the sound is the symbol.
Mm-hmm.
This is a unique thing. That is why it can go deep in your mind
Mm-hmm.
because you are trying to listen to a sound in your mind. And sound is a symbol. It is a symbol of whatever the world is, the whole world which you see. Normally, we see the world outside. Lord Krishna says, you see the whole world as me. That means you are using pratyaksha pramana.
Mm-hmm.
Here, what you are saying, using this is that the sound as a symbol. It's generally never used. So Mandukya teaches you to use sound as a symbol, like you use Shaligrama, you use a Shivalinga. Instead of a Shivalinga form, you use a sound.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the sound you have to get used to that sound. Oh, when you chant outside, you can hear the sound. But when you chant in your own mind, then there is something different. That sound is the entire Jagat. That is how you have to meditate. The whole universe is that sound Om. But there is a silence also. See, sound does not come without the silence. Silence is the substratum. The easiest way to know the see, to know the self is, I've heard this from so many Swamijis. The easiest way to know and realize yourself as Atma is this Omkara meditation. Easiest and the best, and you cannot fail. And you will know it. See, it is not that somebody else will come and say afterwards, but it requires practice. And you see, what you have to do is keep practicing for a few days. Again, try to look at the meaning of that Omkara as you will learn from the Mandukya. I've told you in simple.
Yeah.
Om represents the waking, dream, and the sleep state. The sound Om. The silence Om represents the substratum, which is Turiya.
Turiya. Yeah. Yeah.
So remind yourself again in your own contemplation or in meditation. You say that sound. That sound it represents all my experiences,
And
and there is
Bhagwan Krishna refers this to as a pranava, isn't it? Says
Pranava. Yes, Omkara is Pranava.
Pranava.
Eighth,
What would be
eighth
the
chapter
exact
of
meaning of Sanskrit pranava? I mean, I'll have to look it up maybe.
yeah. It is the same as Omkara. Pranava is the first sound uttered in the world, in the universe.
Pranava. Okay, I see, get it now.
Uttering Pranava, the first sound is called as Pranava.
Uh-huh.
Uttering this only, the Lord created this whole Jagat. First sound he said is Om, and then he created the Jagat.
Correct. Yeah.
And that is why whenever we want to start anything, we just say Om first. Suppose you want to start anything in life, just chant in your own mind Om for split second, and then you start. It has got the spiritual effect on whatever action you're taking up.
Before I leave, are you able to, or I must look it up? I'm sure it must be on your website. You know, in the Vichara Sagara, you say you have, it mentions Omkara Vichara?
Yeah, it because that it also contains the three states. Waking, dream, and sleep is also analyzed in Vichara. But that is it is discussed there. But the best yet it is in the
Is
Bhashya.
Mandukya. Okay.
Mandukya.
Okay. I'll
There is
be happy with
nothing
that.
like the Mandukya Shankara Bhashyam on Omkara. There is nothing equivalent.
Okay. Yeah, no, I must learn to learn Shastra in a more simplified way because the brain is too complicated otherwise. You know, I have a complicated way of learning. But I'm learning from you how to simplify. So if you
That's
say
correct.
Mandukya Upanishad is best, I will stick to that and just take
Correct.
your word and
Yes.
not look here, there, and everywhere.
Today, what we discussed in 3 verses is Kathopanishad also talks about Om as a methodology, as a stepping stone for that Brahma Vidya.
Yeah, but what is interesting about the Om is that it's not only the means and the method, but it's actually also the destination, isn't it?
Correct. It is the destination because it has got the Nirma Tattvam in it, you see.
Yeah, Turiyam is there, so you've got it.
Omkara it's really it's an amazing symbol, amazing symbol. All the brahmacharis, all the Swamijis, you ask anybody, they would have done Omkara Upasana.
Yeah. Okay, I must practice it to
There is no substitute to Omkara Upasana in the spiritual science. There is no substitute, absolutely nothing.
So this is the final conclusion you've made. This is the final conclusion. There is no substitute.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Okay,
thank you so
thank
much.
you. Thank you, Shamad. Shanta, go ahead.
Yeah, namaste, Shekharji.
Namaste.
My question is about, in the 14th verse, when Nachiketa asks about the pairs, what is beyond dharma, or, these pairs. Now, I was just trying to connect, okay? I don't know whether it's even connectable. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 27, where Bhagwan says that the um, the two pairs, the desire and aversion. I mean, I can quickly bring up that verse if you want. The chanting is Ichcha dvesha samuttena dvandvamohena bharata sarvabhutani sammoham sarva yanti parantapa sarge sarge yanti parantapa. So here Bhagwan sort of says that the two opposites are creating the delusion at birth, and that is the reason why you are in the delusion. But I felt that I don't know, Nachiketa is asking something beyond this. What is beyond this delusion, right? Is
Correct.
that the way I should
Yeah,
think?
yeah.
Yeah. So why is now I know this is not a real question, but why is Bhagwan in Bhagavad Gita trying to tell that people are deluded because of these two? And the very next verse he say in the very next verse he says that the people who cross that delusion have faith in me and come to me, right? The
Correct.
28th verse. So I'm trying to see that this the two delusions which we have in which are talked about in Bhagavad Gita, they don't look as the same ones which Nachiketa is comparing. Is it true?
See, the delusions or what you are talking about is the right and wrong.
Hmm.
The first part of the question of Nachiketa, is there
Yes.
anything
Yeah.
which is
Dharma.
beyond dharma and adharma?
Hmm.
You see, pairs of opposites, dharma is the one pair, adharma is the other pair,
Yeah.
other side to the other side. So,
So
the
where is
27th
this comes?
mantra,
My question is actually in this. It is dharma and adharma. He's talking about, as you said. But where does this the pair which in Bhagavad Gita we talk about
yeah,
desire and
dharma,
aversion?
adharma is the delusion. The delusion of pair of opposites, the delusion remains the same, whether it is because of pair of opposites of
Right and wrong, or it
right or
is
wrong,
desire and
it's
aversion.
the
Okay.
delusion remains the same. Here also, what creates delusion in your mind? Should I follow dharma or shall I tell a lie and get away and in this world? Should I follow dharma and not tell a lie and say that this is the truth? Or shall I just tell a white lie? Okay, fine, I lied because it suits the purpose in that time. So,
Okay, so it is that is the delusion. I mean, that is
correct.
what that dharma
Yes.
dharma is. So the
Dharma,
dharma
dharma
dharma is
is the
actually a
pair of
bit
opposites.
above, yeah, above the desire and yeah. Okay,
Yes.
now I get it. Yeah,
Now you got it. Good.
because it's only yeah because of your dharma only you are reaching that point where you say I
That's
want to
correct.
desire this or I don't want
Yes.
this. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
The
Dhanyawad.
source book of Bhagavad Gita is Kathopanishad. Source book. You will find many, many mantras just
Yeah,
taken, really lifted.
yeah,
Many
yeah,
mantras will
because
come. So you take that Kathopanishad is the source for
mm,
Bhagavad Gita, and then you will get the answers automatically.
mm, yeah. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shikati, I just remembered, from that when you were doing that was dharma, dharma, and krita, krita, those pair of shabdas which is mentioned. So that more or less is really a remit of all our thinking as well, isn't it? Like when we think about what do we think, that really is categorized in that particular shloka. I was
Yes.
trying to think, is there anything beyond that what we think?
There is
Probably
nothing.
there
There is
isn't.
nothing. That commentary of Shankaracharya's on this particular mantra will be amazing to study. I have not
Uh-huh.
done it. It will be amazing to study the Bhashyam of this particular mantra.
Wow. Thank
It
you.
will be amazing. It encompasses everything. You see, this
Yeah.
question is a
Yes.
you keep contemplating on this question itself.
Yeah.
And you will understand there is something which is beyond all this, and that is how you
Yeah.
reach the absolute. See,
Yeah.
the ultimate, according to Upanishads, is the subject is the ultimate. The
Yeah.
object, the objective world is not the objective. That is the means to reach the subject.
Mm-hmm.
So through these questions, you have to reach the subject in you. That means without that I being
Mm-hmm.
present, there is no past, there is no future, there is no right, there is no wrong, there is no cause, there is no effect. Without me, the I, that I is the ultimate. That I is the pure consciousness. That I is the pure consciousness from where all these three things rise. Past and future rises from that I, which is consciousness. Cause and effect rises and resolves from that I, which is the consciousness. The dharma and adharma, they are meaningless without that I. That without that I consciousness, there is no dharma adharma, no past and present, no cause and effect. Therefore, that I becomes the central question for Nachiketa. That I should become the central goal for all of us. We are all seekers of the same I, which Nachiketa wanted to know. We are also searching for the same I. That is why he says, the very first reply by Lord Yama Dharmaraja as a teacher, he says, uh, Nachiketa, your question which you are asking is the goal for all the Veda itself. Forget about all the seekers. Veda itself has a goal on this consciousness. Okay, good. Thank you, Shama. We are going very deep into this topic. I'm very glad each one of you is thinking. Bharat has got a good synopsis here of what we are discussing. During O meditation, this reciting of Auma is Pratyaksha Pramanam. Pratyaksha here means it is one, that means it is Pratyaksha means not only form and color. Here he is using Pratyaksha to include sounds. Okay. Okay. But during the silence, it is Anupatti, absence, Pramanam, because it is impossible to perceive something which is actually not there. Memory is different. Absence must be the existent consciousness of non perception. This knowledge is direct and immediate and doesn't require any other pramana. But during the next pratyaksha, the precision of Auma, this cannot disappear because that discipline would be seen, not sure. Okay, good. Bharat, you made a very valid point. I have got the gist of what you're trying to say. See, what Bharat is saying is ultimately the silence represents consciousness. That is what is the ultimate. That's it is not memory. It is not memory of something. But here you're talking about consciousness, which is the substratum for all knowledge, both knowledge of presence and absence. See, substratum, we can call it a substratum only if it is for both the presence of knowledge and the absence of knowledge. See, this is how Sakshi is also described. Sakshi is, it is Sakshi to the presence of the world. It is also Sakshi to the absence of the world. That Sakshi is consciousness. So this is how deep you have to go in spiritual science. You have to go you have to go to the inner core of yourself and then claim that the real substratum, not only of yourself, but Upanishad says learn to claim that as a substratum of the entire universe, because that is the Swarupa Jnana. Different than the Vritti Jnana. Vritti Jnanam is related. Swarupa Jnanam is consciousness. Good, Bharat. I'm glad you've gone very deep into your understanding. What you have presented is correct. Both existence and non-existence are known by consciousness. Here, existence means appearance. Non-existence means disappearance. The whole world disappears. Where does it disappear? It disappears into the substrate. Unless and until you get to this aspect of the study, you will not be able to enjoy the benefit of moksha. Moksha is something which you should enjoy as your swarupa. It will come when you go into the deeper and deeper study of Upanishads. Thank you. Thank you, Bharat. Anything else you want to add, Bharat?
Carry on, Shakaji. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just writing this down because I found Om meditation very difficult, and trying to, you either find a way or make a way. So I tried to study the pramanas, and it suddenly hit me one day that the absence, you can't perceive what's not there, but the absence, something knows the absence. And as you said, there has to be a witness of the absence. But this is where Mandukya, mantra 7 comes in and says even that witnessing of the absence, it has to go. It is not Atma. Turiya is underlying even the witness and the witnessing of the absence. Both have to go.
Yes. Good. Very good, Bharat. I'm glad you're able to understand these aspects in your own mind. Good.
Thank you.
But Shekharji,
Thank you.
sorry, Shekharji, can
Yeah.
Yeah, just really on the same topic, and which Bharat has just very beautifully brought out. I want to be clear, we cannot describe the silent Om because that is Turiya. And at that point, we cannot say it needs any pramanas, isn't it? It just is.
Yeah, correct. The
So
pramanam for the
yeah.
silence is the Shruti only. There's nothing else.
So we cannot say it is Anupalabdhi Pramanam. That's what I'm want to clarify, that
Yeah, Anupalabdhi is using it only as an absence. That's all. He is not talking about the pramanam for consciousness. The Anupalabdhi means what? Absence of something is also a pramanam, but it is not the pramanam for Turiyam. For Turiyam, the
that's
pramanam
what I
is,
was trying
yeah,
to
correct.
clarify. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I just wanted to add.
Yeah, go ahead, Bharat. Yeah.
Shaimaben, Anupalabdhi is an object of experience for consciousness. It's not consciousness. It's just a
Yeah,
stepping stone.
True. That we are reaching there. But when you have reached in the Turiyam, then it doesn't beg any pramanam. It just is. You become that. There cannot be need for any pramanam. That's what I mean.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Prashna Upanishad Bhashyam, it goes in the same line as what we have been talking so far, where the opponent comes and talks about saying that ultimately there is absence. Absence is the ultimate according to the Purva Pakshi. I'm just giving you a simple, just a line of argument used by Shankaracharya because it's very similar to what we are using here. See, there Shankaracharya says to the opponent, he says, even absence, you are saying that there is a jnanam of that absence. So again, you're coming back to jnanam only. That jnanam is consciousness. Even that absence, there is you cannot talk about absence unless until you are aware of that absence. You see, that is what actually we should also look at. Even in our sleep state, there is absence, no doubt about it. But I am aware of that absence. That awareness is my real nature. Jnanam never goes out. Jnanam is nityam. This is how Shankaracharya proves to the Purva Pakshi there. He says Jnanam is always nityam. Nityam means it never goes out. It is always there. It always is. That isness, that knowledge is my Atma. The moment you understand this last portion, which Bharat has pointed out, Shama has pointed out, absence of this entire creation is there in our sleep state. But who knows that absence? That knower of that absence is Atma. That is why in Vedanta Upanishad, a very beautiful description of Atma is given, where it says in Vedanta Upanishad that Sakshitvam of that absence never goes away. That is the real Atma. When the world is there in the waking state, yes, it's very easy. Yes, I am conscious of the world. But the other thing which we have to understand is when the world is not experienced by me, I am still there. If I know that Atma, then I am free from death, free from birth. I am always there. I am free from past. I am free from the future. I am there all the time. That I is timeless. That I is called as Nityam. This is the final teaching of the Upanishad, very beautifully brought out by Shankaracharya. In Prashno, I just gave you a reference to it because the same thing applies here also. Whenever you want to study the real nature of Atma, these are the things which should come to your mind, and your mind should settle that as the Swarup. Then you will have no fear because this Atma is fearless. There is nothing else except this Atma. Abhayam, Lord of Death, teaches Nachiketa how to become fearless in life. Good. Thank you. We'll see you next week. Another beautiful mantra, Najayate Mrete Va Karachit, is coming. A lot of people think that it is from Bhagavad Gita, but the source of that mantra is Kathopanishad. Thank you, all of you. Wish you a great day. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Secretary.
Namaste.
Namaste, sir. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you, Bharat.